George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Malique Lewis is a student at Syracuse University, happens to be the co-chair of the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration, Inspiration for the Nation, has partnered with the MLK Committee to bring you some of the stories previewing the big dinner on January 23rd at the JMA Wireless Dome. I got to keep saying that in my head. Malique is real busy on the SU campus. He's involved in the student government. He's also involved in a group called Posse. We'll learn about that. And he's also the student president of the Black Student Union. So first of all, tell me what your involvement is with the MLK Committee and why you wanted to be involved with it.
First off, sir, I just want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor. And thank you for the work that you do in and out of the community. And, you know, what wanted me to get started and how I got involved was I started to become closer to Dean Conkle. And he kind of took me under his wing and saw the work that I was doing on campus.
That's Dean Brian Conkle from the Hendricks Chapel. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he's always just been an inspiration to me because I've seen the work that he's done as well. And when he said, you know, I want you to do this internship over the summer, just work with me, get to know what we do here at Hendricks Chapel, have an even greater impact here at Syracuse University. Part of that was looking at how we could make the MLK celebration something very memorable. And so I'm very honored to be the student head committee chair for that. It's truly an honor. It's a blessing. And really what we've been working on is making sure that we're communicating with the community. We're looking at what the community needs. We're looking at how we can help the community. And when he pitched that to me, you know, I said, you know, I can't turn this down. I definitely want to be part of this. And I think it's something special.
Now we're talking the university community. We talking what community we talking about?
That's important, right?
Yes.
And I'll say this. You know, the Syracuse University community is a community that has a lot going for it. A lot of, you know, I'll use the word privilege, right? Students who earned their right to be here, but they have a lot of privilege, a lot of resources. And, you know, what we're talking about, sir, we're talking about that community across that highway, that community with hard workers, people who work that 9 to 5, people who are providing for their family, people who are doing the best they can to make it out here. We want to let them know that we see them, that they have the spirit of Martin Luther King, and we want to connect with them because that's not something we do every day. And that's something we need to start doing, you know, more and more.
And so what do you see as ways to do that, to make the community feel more connected to the university?
Right. And, you know, I think it starts with giving more service. And so even myself, a couple of weeks back, I found out about something called Rise Above the Streets. Or people who don't have clothing, and even kids who don't. And Rise Above the Streets is an amazing program that gives back to the community. It helps kids who can't read. It helps give back food for people who may not have food. It's giving clothing to people who may be cold out there. And so I wanted to be part of something like that, and I help donate and I help give back. And so it's, again, looking into the community, looking at what the community needs, and then putting yourself in those areas. There's a lot going on. We just have to insert ourselves in what's going on. They want more volunteers. They want more people to help out. And when we have those acts of service, like Martin Luther King talked about, right, that's looking into the community and helping out in the best way we can. So I think just giving acts of service and listening to what the community needs.
Malique, you are what year at SU?
I'm a junior here at SU.
From
Miami, Florida.
All right. So this week was really, you can't wait to get home, huh?
Oh yeah. The snow's piling up. The snow's piling up.
Yes, sir. I know you can't wait to get home. And so what connections do you see from the neighborhood where you grew up in Miami to what you see in the Syracuse community, if there are any connections at all?
I think that's an amazing question. And so one connection I'll say is just that, you know, I came from an environment that was very hard, very tough. A lot of people don't make it out. And when I say make it out, I literally mean that, right? It's very hard, very rough. And people had to have the mindset of, okay, education is the key. Education is going to get me out of here so we can live a better quality of life. And so my mom always taught me and instilled in me that you got to go out there and get an education. You got to go out there and take life serious. And so I try to instill that within others. But what I see in my community and the Syracuse community is so much potential. But, you know, the people just don't hear it enough that, hey, you can do it. You can do what you put your mind to. You can go to any university you want when you put in the work. I really want to give back even more than we have, to the kids here at the community, here at Syracuse, even than the kids in Miami. I think the one thing that a lot of people are lacking within the community is just knowing that when you put in the work, when you have a little bit of faith, that can go a long way. And so that's what I see that's relatable for Miami and Syracuse. It's just that, they need more opportunity, they need more resources, and they need more people who have made it to a certain level of life to come back and say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. And not only that, but here's how I did it, and here's how I help you get there if you need my help, right? And so again, just, that's what I say is similar.
And so how did you see yourself, how did you make it out of what you call the hard environment? What part of Miami, by the way, did you grow up?
And so I grew up in about 2 neighborhoods in Miami. We had North Miami Beach, and then I grew up in Miami Gardens. And both of those neighborhoods at the time when I was growing up were very tough and had a very high crime rate. And to answer your question, how I made it out was, really just looking at myself and saying, hey, I can do it. It doesn't matter where I start. It's actually about the journey and where I'm going and where I'm heading. And I knew that I wanted to be an inspiration for those that came behind me. I got a little brother. Right now, he's 10 years old. And, when this is done, I'm going to send this to him, right? So he can look at it and just be inspired. I think that we all have
look what Big Brother doing.
Oh, yeah. we got an opportunity to inspire people. And so I just knew that, hey, if I can go out there and do it, so many other people are going to realize that they can do it too. And so that motivated me, just being an inspiration and really taking that step. And once I started to get good grades, once I started to, like you mentioned earlier, become a posse scholar, I realized, wait, I could really do this. There's nothing that I can't do.
What is a posse scholar?
A posse scholar it goes right back to leadership. It's a leadership scholarship. It's given to about 10 students, and it gets matched with different universities. And so for Miami, Florida, we get matched with Syracuse. Another school is Hamilton, which is right next door to us, right? Another school is Pomona in California. And so I had the opportunity to pick which school do I want. And then you go through a rigorous process so they can see, do you fit within the cohort of the school and the school values? And of course, your grades, academics, but also what you do in your community. And so what I say I did in my community to really become a posse scholar was I was part of this program called the 5,000 Role Models, which help young Black men become better leaders, especially those without fathers. And so that's a program that I was in. That's a program that helped change my life. And they saw what I was able to do within the community, giving those acts of service like we talked about earlier. And they said, hey, we want you to be a posse scholar, and you want Syracuse University, and Syracuse University wants you. And so that's the best way I could wrap up posse and wrap up the posse process. And if anybody's looking into it, listening right now, and you're a high school student, I really urge you to try it out.
So I forgot one thing that Syracuse, as I'm listening to you, forgot about the orange. We got, Miami. Remember, Miami has the oranges, and so does Syracuse. So there you go.
That's true.
So when you think about all of that as a leader and the Martin Luther King Jr. legacy, and the legacy of Syracuse University having the largest on-campus celebration, and you're being a part of that, at the end of the ceremony, or at the end of the dinner on the 23rd, which will be the keynote speaker will be Reverend Phil Turner, Pastor Phil Turner of the Bethany Baptist Church in Syracuse. I believe historically maybe the first time we've had a local speaker as a speaker. What do you want the community as a student co-chair to take away, both the universities and the Syracuse surrounding community? What do you want? What do you hope happens, and how do you see yourself making that happen?
Another amazing question. You've been right on the money today. So what I'll say,
it's kind of like I do this, right?
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'll say I want them to know that we see them. We see you, we hear you, we want to get to know you, we want to build a stronger relationship. Let's not be strangers. We are all part of this community, and we see what you're going through. We see the work you put in, and we know what we're all capable of to create a better community. It starts here. And so there's a lot of problems going on within our nation, within our world, but it starts right here at home. And we want them to realize that we're looking right here at home. We're looking at the impactful Reverend Phil Turner. We're looking at what can we do to really bring people in and understand that we are looking at what it means to be a cohesive system of love, a cohesive system of support, of service. And it all starts with, if we have an opportunity, we're not virtual no more, we're in person. Why bring in somebody else when we could bring somebody in right here from this community doing amazing work, letting people know that we see them. And I think a lot of times when you're going through a lot of tough times, you may call on your friend and they're like, yeah, I hear you, but they're dealing with their own stuff, right? We don't want it to feel like that. We want people to really know that we really see you. We really see this community for what it is, for what it stands for, and we're here to make it better.
Malique Lewis is the student co-chair of the Syracuse University Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, January 23rd, from 5 p.m. to about 9 p.m., if you will, probably sooner. Dinner, there's a program part. The program portion is from 7 to 8:30. That part is free if you don't do dinner, but the dinner tickets are on sale now, mlk.syr.edu. So I believe you are also someone who I can see the leadership, right? Because you're a charismatic person, you're curious. And I think those are the things that that's where leadership starts. Curiosity, right? You say more about that.
That's true. That's true, right? And that's a great point. Being curious about the world and how to improve it. You know, when you're born into this world, it's not perfect. And the reason it's not perfect is because we're supposed to be here for a purpose, and we're supposed to be here to put in work to make it better. And so I've realized that at an early age, I realized, hey, my environment isn't perfect. I realized, as much as I love my mom and my family isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. So that means that we're here to work on ourselves. We're here to become better human beings. We're here to make our communities better. And I believe when you realize that we're all not perfect, and that's why we're here to have a purpose and make things better. You become curious, like you said. You become curious on how can we make things better? How can we communicate better? How can we be better than we were the day before? And to me, that's true leadership, right? Like Martin Luther King, he looked around and said, what's going on today, something can be better. This is not a perfect America. We have to do something about this. And he figured out his purpose. He created a plan. And now we're able to live in a better America. It's not perfect yet. Still more work to do. That's where we come in. And it's a cycle.
Right.
That's the leadership we have.
And the children shall lead us, right?
That's true.
We're rooting for Malique Lewis to come along and find his space and his purpose. And it seems like you're finding that, because first of all, what is your major? What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in communications and rhetoric studies.
Okay. Yep. So and then you are also, and what do you hope to do with that
I see a lot going on within government and politics, and maybe I won't get there right away, but I definitely want to make an impact when it comes to bills and policy and being in politics to make things better for hardworking people.
And so you're also part of the student government. Tell me what your role is there.
And so for our student government here at Syracuse, I'm chief of staff. And my role is really to look over our staff, look over our leaders within that organization, and to remind them why they're here. Sometimes when we're leading and we're doing all this amazing work on campus, we forget the purpose of why we're here. And so I want people to feel purposeful. So my role as chief of staff is really, a motivator, somebody that people can just call on and say, hey, I need some words of inspiration, man. But, I'm going through a tough time. What can I do? And I remind them, hey, this is why you said you joined student association, student government for this reason. Don't forget why you joined. Don't forget why you're here. And don't forget the impact you can make. And so just being that motivator for the team.
And you were also, so I want to know how you find time for all this. And aren't you the chair of the Black Student Union? Tell me about how that came about.
Yes, sir. And so the Black Student Union is something that's amazing and beautiful, because for many years, and I want to give respect to organizations that came before the Black Student Union at Syracuse University that put in a lot of work for us to be to where we are today. But it's the first recognized union within the RSO, which is a registered organization, which means we work with the administration to be an organization on campus. So it's our first actual BSU. And I think that it's 2022. We were founded in 1870. It's about time. It's something that's beautiful. It's something to bring all Black students together, no matter how you identify. It lets Black students know that you belong here. you had amazing test scores, or you're just an amazing person, the school picked you. A lot of people come here and they feel like, hey, I'm at a PWI. I feel like I don't belong here. No, this is your school. You belong here. And, I think one of the mission statements of BSU for me and for our team is that we want students to know that they can excel academically, they can excel socially, and they can really become the best that they can be within these 4 years.
And obviously, when you say organizations that come before, talking about SAS, the Student African American Society, and the work that they put in, some amazing work during the years. And so you're building on a legacy of greatness at Syracuse University. And as we're talking, I'm thinking, let me just pay homage to Louis Orr, great Syracuse Orange man at the time, but Syracuse Orange player who was not only a great basketball player, played for my New York Knicks, but he was a great man, a great human being. And just want to give a shout out to Louis Orr. At the time of our conversation, we're just learning of the news of Louis passing at the age of 64. Louis was a classmate of mine, right? We went to school together and lived in the same dorm complex. He lived in Lawrenson. I lived in Sadler.
That's right there.
Show,
for those
right?
that know, that's right there. Yep.
Okay. So I just wanted to stop and talk about Louis for just a minute, just because it occurred to me that we're in the time when, at the time of this conversation, we're just learning of that news. So I think for the community to really feel impacted, I've heard some people say that they haven't been to the Dome. I've heard or that they, even though the campus is footsteps from one of the first housing complexes in the country, there are people who don't feel welcome at Syracuse University. How can you, Malique, make them feel welcome?
It starts with letting them know and recognize that there's power within you. There's something special within you that got you this far, and it's hard, right? Because you feel like sometimes you don't belong, or you have this imposter syndrome where it's like, hey, I made it here and I know I put in the work, but do I deserve to be here? And it's letting people know that you do deserve to be here. You do belong here. You can make an impact here. And so my job is also, like you said, to help people feel included. My sophomore year at this university, for student government, I was diversity and inclusion vice president for our student government. And in that work, I realized what we all share. And what we all share is that humanity. What we all share is that spirit to want to be good, to want to work together. And a lot of differences that people have, it's really the differences that we have is actually what's supposed to unite us. The fact that, hey, I'm Black or you may be white, that is actually supposed to unite us. And we're supposed to celebrate our differences and come together with our differences and still share the same food, right? And still share the same mindset of we're here to grow together. And so letting people know that they belong, letting people know that it is their right to be here, that they earned being here, is something that I try to let people know as often as I can. Because sometimes it happens even for me. It's hard to say, hey, I'm on this podcast right now. It could have been anybody else. It's an honor, but I deserve to be here. I put the work in to be here, and it's a blessing to be here. And when you remind those people those things and you give them that mantra, I think that they start to realize, hey, Syracuse University is my school. This is my community. They take responsibility for being here, and they really want to excel here. So it's not easy, but it's possible.
I want to say, with all that you're doing, how do you replenish? You're in all, because all of these organizations that you're in demand of you to be on and to perform. And so how do you replenish and fill your cup back up?
That's that's amazing. That's a great one. That's a great one. It's and that's important, because if you don't fill up your cup, you can't share with others, right? You can't help others if you're not whole. And so what I do is it may be even small. Let's say when I'm going through a busy day, because I know days are busy for everybody. I try to even replenish throughout the day. So before I eat, I'll say a prayer. Thank you, God, for this food. I appreciate it. There's people who can't eat. I'm going to use this food. Help me use this food to utilize that energy so I could bless others within their life. Those little mantras keep me going and make me realize I'm grateful to eat. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have 2 legs, 2 arms. I'm going to go out here and be the best I can be. And even before I sleep, I do a little meditation. You know, I try to reflect on what happened today, what went good, what went bad, and accept it and move on, and let's do better the next day. And so those times of meditation, of prayer, reflection. I also love working out. I love going to the gym or just going for a jog. Those are times where you're able to clear your mind, get some space, replenish, like you said, regroup, and focus in for the next day.
All right, final question or message. I'm going to turn it over to you. What do you want to say to people about coming to the JMA Wireless Dome on January 23rd for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, the 38th Martin Luther King Jr. celebration at the Syracuse University JMA Wireless Dome?
Awesome. Hey, this is for you. This is for you. This event is for you. It was made for you. It's tailored for you. It's made for humanity. That's exactly how Martin Luther King would have wanted it. He would have wanted everybody there. It's a family. We're coming together as one. We're coming together as Syracuse. We're coming together as a community, and it's made for us. This event is not made for anybody in particular but us. This is for everybody to come, to enjoy, to have a great time. You know, I'm really excited for it because it's really a time where we come together and we celebrate the progress we've made, and we also take a step back to recognize how much further we can go if we continue to stay together. So this event will not just be an event, it's something you'll take with you for the rest of your life. You can say that you were always at the 38th annual Martin Luther King celebration here at the Dome. You'll pass it down generations. You hold it in your heart. It's something that's life-changing. When the keynote speaker speaks, when you're eating that food for the dinner, there's a lot that you're going to take with you. You're going to meet a lot of great people, a lot of community, and you're going to take away some amazing words of wisdom.
That's Malique Lewis. He is the student co-chair of the 38th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, January 23rd at the JMA Wireless Dome. Doors open at 4, dinner starts at 5, program starts at 7. And Malique, by the way, how old are you? I didn't even get that.
I'm 20. I'm 21. 21. I just turned 21 on December 7th.
All right. Well, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you, sir.
Malique, we know that we know we're in good hands if we got you on the case. So we appreciate you. Malique Lewis, somebody we feel good about here on Inspiration for the Nation. Mark your calendars, January 23rd, mlk.syr.edu for tickets, the 38th annual Martin Luther King Jr. dinner. I'm George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation.